start with Sheffield United. In goal will be Michael Cooper, who's kept 16 clean sheets this season, behind James Trafford. At the back, we've got Hamza Chowdhury, Jack Robinson, the captain, Ano Ahmedhodzic, and Harrison Burrows, who's really coming to the side very well this season. In the midfield area, we've got Ryan Brewster, the former Liverpool youngster, Sidney Peck, Vinicius Souza, and Gustavo Harmer, who can create chances off a sixpence. Then up front, you've got Kiefer Moore, who's got 6 goals in all competitions this season, and the top scorer with 11, Tyrese Campbell. On the bench, Davis, the goalkeeper, McCallum, Rob Holding, Serki, Callum O'Hare, formerly of Coventry, Davis, Brooks, Glenn Berreton Diaz, and Tom Cannon, who's only got 1 goal this season, and that happened to come in the game at Turf Moor against Burnley, would you believe? As for Sunderland, Regis de Vries, their manager, they finished something like 16 points in the end behind Sheffield United, and they've finished up on 76 points. Their lineup is as follows. It's Anthony Patterson in goal. Back 4 of Dennis Durkin, Luke O'Nien, formerly of Wickham, Dan Ballard, who got the winner against Coventry in the last seconds of extra time in the second leg, and Trae Hume. Then it's Enzo Lafayette, Joe Bellingham, brother of Jude Bellingham, a Brummie born and bred, Dan Neal, the captain, Chris Wigg, Romain Mundle, who's got 5 goals in all competitions this season, and Mayenda, who's got 11. The top scorer, Isidore, is on the bench alongside Samed, Brown, Geld, Jones, Meppen, Moore, the goalkeeper, Roberts, and Watson. The referee today, Chris Kavanagh from Greater Manchester. The game will kick off at 1 minute past 3 because there is a promotion going on for the CPR to get more people going into CPR. And whilst that's going on, let me just remind you, so Chris Kavanagh is the referee from Ashton Underline in Greater Manchester. Lee Betts and Neil Davis are the 2 assistants. Peter Banks, the 4th official. And today, in the biggest final of all, is we do have the dreaded VAR, and that is operated by Melton Mowbray spinist John Brooks from the land of the pork pie. He's at Stockley Park today, as opposed to Wembley. So we're all set to go then. Vinnie Jones just explaining to everyone about the CPR, and then once that's over with, we can now begin this championship playoff final. There is Big Vinnie Jones, looking very well as ever, looking very sharp in his suit, gotta say. Nice purple number. So Paul James, I'm going to put you on the spot now as the teams toss up for the ends and kick off. Who's going to win the final today? I'm putting you on the spot. Or are you going to sit on the fence?
Well, it's a tough call, JB. I'm not allowed to sit on the fence on this one. I'm a co-com, so I'm gonna give a prediction. I think Sheffield United will win it, but it's going to be very tight. Maybe 1 goal is going to settle this game. I think it's going to be very, very tight. Sunderland have a good team, but I just think Sheffield United have just got more in them, and I think that they'll probably pick up the victory today by the odd goal.
I can see your logic, because their top scorer is Tyrese Campbell with 11, and he's playing, whereas Isidore's got 13, and he's not even in the 11. So I can see your logic, but you can never write off Sunderland. They wrote them off in 73 in the cup final when Leeds were expected to win by something like 4 or 5-0. That was a team that had Hunter, it was Don Rebbe's team in those days, where they had Hunter, Bremner, Clark, Lorimer, Gray. They had all the big names, but they were humbled by Jim Montgomery and Ian Porterfield on that day. Sunderland are in the change strip of blue sleeves and white and blue sleeve tops, and Sheffield United are in that famous red and white stripes, and it's going to be Gus Harmer to get us underway. Sheffield United are going to be attacking the goal away to my left hand side here. Away we go then. The championship playoff final is up and running. This really is the biggest game, one of the biggest games in English football. A massive £220 million for grabs. Who will come out on top? Early throw for Sunderland then, over on the far side. Ball not back in there by Hamza Chowdhury, formerly of Leicester. In fact, he's on loan to Sheffield United from Leicester. Oh, Patterson put under pressure right at the word goal there. Just maybe dawdled a bit there, the Sunderland goalkeeper, Paul, and he, well, on another day, he could have been punished for that.
Yeah, a bit lackadaisical there, but fortunately for Sunderland, they get away with that one.
Well, here's Chowdhury now. Ahmed Odjic, who gave away that crucial penalty at Turf Moor, which led to Brownhill scoring the second goal at Turf Moor about a month ago. And what was a real decider, Sheffield United knew 3 games before the end they were going to be playing in the playoffs as Harmer plays that in. And they've made a purposeful start and they almost score! But for a miraculous save from Anthony Patterson. Great header came in and Patterson somehow on the line denies Kiefer Moore from no more than 6 yards out. And Paul, I've got to say, this save is up there with Gordon Banks of 1970 because nobody, once Moore had got ahead on that, nobody expected Patterson to get down and scoop it away.
It was a super save. Oh my goodness me. Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. It was very Gordon Banks-esque. He gets down and makes that save. I don't know how he makes that save. This is a thumping header. It's bouncing just as it approaches the goalkeeper's hand as he gets down to his left-hand side. That save there, right there, defies physics. I don't know how he managed to get across for that. A super save.
Never mind physics, it defies belief. In the last sort of 5 minutes or so, starting to creep into this one a little bit more. They're showing a bit more belief from Mayenda here, turning away on a sixpence ball and forcing the corner off the defender.
Best move by Sunderland so far, I think. It's taken them a while to really break into the Sheffield United half, but they've that's some good football right there.
It is, and Trey Hume is going to take the corner from the near side here. Ballard is up, Meplin is up, Birmingham's in there, amongst others. So too is Mundell as well. Can Sunderland strike while the iron is hot, perhaps? The white, blue and green of Sunderland today. Referee's not happy that some jostling, pushing and shoving going on at the moment. Yuma goes short, gets it back again. First time crossing to the penalty area. Away by Sheffield United. Bellingham on the retreat, but it's Harmer now for Sheffield United. And he's looking to get players forward, and there's a chance inside the penalty area, and that's going to be the first goal for Sheffield United! Would you believe it? It came from a Sunderland corner. And it's 1-0 to Sheffield United. It was made by Gustavo Harmer and Tyrese Campbell. The top scorer has chipped it over Patterson into the far corner, and the top scorer now goes to 12 goals, and Sheffield United lead after 25 minutes of the 2025 playoff final. 1-0 they lead. Tyrese Campbell, Paul James.
Oh, that was the finish was quite brilliant. But let's take a look here. Just go back a little bit and take a look at the build-up. Look at how quick Sheffield United broke out there. They broke out so quickly, and the football was brilliant. The ball across from Harmer to Campbell. He just flicks it over the goalkeeper, and that is a brilliant goal. Sheffield United take the 1-goal lead, and this is why all season Sheffield United, until at least the very last few weeks of the season, were very, very consistent. That's a prime example of it right there.
And Chris Wilder's celebration says it all. And these fans who have suffered playoff heartache here 5 times at Wembley before, time after time after time, maybe is it going to be 6th time lucky at Wembley? On the near side. So 33 minutes of this Championship playoff final, the first of 3 playoff finals, of course, to be played over the course of the weekend. We've got Leyton Orient against Charlton tomorrow. I think Wimbledon are involved in the other one. I'm forgetting who they play. Anyway, we'll find out later. Here's Harmer with the corner now for Sheffield United, leading 1-0 in the big one, the Championship playoff final. Harmer's corner, into the area it goes, and up with the head, and then the shot back in, it's got in! It's 2-0 from outside the penalty area! It's Harrison Burrows of all people! The left back What a shot by him! He must have been no more than 25 yards out. It's skidded along the deck, and Burrows gets his 7th goal of the season, and Sheffield United are 2-0 ahead in this playoff final. What a goal from the young Sheffield United fullback. 2-0 they lead, Paul.
Well, he caught it on the volley, on the half volley. Now it's skewed up into the air, and I believe the goalkeeper was onside. They're reviewing it on VAR now.
Well, yes, there may have been a man offside. Well, you don't know yet. So for the time being, it remains 2-0. I thought it was 25 yards out. It's just, in fact, it was a bit further in than that. It was less than 25 yards out, but he's caught it well. But was Kiefer Moore and a couple of others maybe in the goalkeeper's eyesight? It has gone to the VAR to look at, and I have to say, at least one Sheffield United player, as far as I can tell, and it's probably Vinicius Junior. It's Vinny Souza.
I think they've got to disallow it.
It's a shame, really, from Harrison Burrows' point of view, because he won't have hit that any sweeter than that, will he? I mean, that's racing. But the bottom line is, Vinny Souza is quite blatantly standing in an offside position and is in line of the goalkeeper's sight. Yeah,
they've got to disallow this, in my opinion, JB.
Well, we've commentated on Wembley Cup finals, and it is going to the big screen. So 99.9% of the time, he will change his mind. Now, I remember a League Cup final we did together when Liverpool, we thought, scored a perfectly good goal against Chelsea, only for the referee only for VAR to disallow it.
You can see this looks more right across his eye line here. Watch.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm just looking now. Yes. But this looks more clear cut than the one we had 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for Harrison Burrows because if he tried that another 99 times, he could not have hit that sweet and that. And he's the person I feel sorry for from a Sheffield United viewpoint, because if Vinny Souza is not standing in an offside position, that goes down as one of the great playoff and Wembley goals of all time.
Yeah, it was a beautifully struck shot. The referee's just announcing the reason why that goal is not going to stand.
About 2 seconds from now. Yes, Vinny Souza standing in an offside position. It's got to be a free kick to Sunderland at this point, surely. I'll be amazed if it's anything else.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah, the goal is not going to stand. It's gone back to 1-0 from 2-0. And, and in the end, it was the correct decision in the end. And that VAR check did... Well, I thought it was blatantly obvious. It took about 3 or 4 goals, at least 3 minutes. Now, in the FA final last week, they used semi-automated offsides. Now, why couldn't they have done the same for this game? It's just, if you're going to use it for the FA Cup final, use semi-automated for the playoff. To Sunderland, we've got about 30 seconds of the 8 remaining, and the end of what's been a rip-roaring first half here at Wembley Stadium. That has to be said. Been very enjoyable. Been a good game to commentate on, and it's been a good advert for the English Football League. Absolutely superb. And they all say that the Premier League is the best league in the world. They might argue that, but in terms of drama and entertainment, the EFL never fails to disappoint as the half-time whistle goes. So Regis de Vries, whose side have had a lot of the possession and a lot of the play, haven't been able to make that advantage tell, but Sheffield United, thanks to a brilliant attack goal started by Kusama, who set the thing in motion, with a lovely ball for the left-hand side, and Tyrese Campbell did the rest. Harrison Burrows scored a cracking, what he thought was a cracking 20-yard power driver with his right foot that went arrowing into the net, but it was chalked off quite rightly as Vinicius Souza had strayed into an offside position. There'll be a few choice words between those two, I'm sure, at half-time. So 1-0 at the break in this playoff final, as we got underway in the second half whilst Paul was talking. Sunderland now attacking the end where all their supporters are. Just to reconvene you with the teams: Cooper in goal for Sheffield United, back forward Chowdhury, Ahmedhodzic, Robinson and Burrows, and then Brewster, Peck, Vinny Souza and Gustavo Harmer, and then up front Kiefer Moore and Tyrese Campbell, the goal scorer. Sunderland now with Patterson in goal for them. Back four of Hume, Mepham, Ballard and Kirkin. And then in the midfield, two holding midfielders, Neil, the captain, and Bellingham. And then Rigg, Lafay and Mundell further forward. And then up front, Mayenda. So they're the two 11s. So unchanged from the end of the first half. Remember that one alteration, Luke O'Nien off with a dislocated shoulder in the first few moments of the first half. And on in his place, of course, Chris Mepham. Here is the well-mentioned Mundell, making a good run and a good break there by the defender Kirkin, who wins an early corner here off Amadotic. And an opportunity now for Sunderland, who yield the first corner of this second half. Remember, £220 million. It's a mind-blowing sum of money to whichever of these two great footballing institutions win the playoff final. Mundell is going to take the corner. Will he go short to Lafay, or will he go straight direct towards the penalty area? Left-hand side quadrant, short to Lafay. He will take on Chowdhury, uses the attacker Rigg, who absolutely knocks that out of play, and then goes back into play. Goal kick to Sheffield United. We've played nearly 2 minutes of this second half.
Good start by Sunderland. The start of the second half, just making themselves, putting themselves about, getting an early corner. It's starting as they mean to go along, but they've had possession in the first half too. They need to really start turning this possession now into chances.
They do. Well, penny for Regis de Bree's thoughts. There's Vinnie Jones. You wouldn't want to mess with him on a bad day if you face Wimbledon back in the late 80s and early 90s. He used to be a hog carrier before he became a footballer, Vinnie Jones, on a building site. Now an ex-footballer and now a movie star of his own esteem in Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, amongst other films. I think he had the looks to be an actor, actually.
Also appeared in what's now called WWE wrestling.
Oh, mistake now, chance here, saved, and Sunderland just about get away with it. Oh my goodness, Sheffield United had a glorious opportunity presented to them by some very lax Sunderland defending, and Anthony Patterson has saved Sunderland and has practically got them out of jail, Paul. My goodness me, there's a Sheffield United player on the deck near the halfway line, and we were going on about WWE as that happened, and we'll come back to the chance in a minute because Sunderland are on the break here, and this is a good run there by Roberts into the penalty area. No foul, says the referee cabinet. Waved his arms out to the left and right side respectively. And there's going to be, I think, there's activity on the Sunderland bench. We've got 15 minutes to go in this playoff final. And the reason why we're running a little bit behind the Scottish Cup final that kicked off at around about the same time is we had a mammoth 8 minutes of stoppage time. But the injury to Luke O'Nien and the injury to and the VAR check when Harrison Burrows scored a goal that was offside. Harrison Burrows wasn't himself offside, it was Vinny Jr. And now a chance down the other end. A goal for Sunderland! It's Maeda with his 12th of the season, and Sunderland have got themselves out of jail with 15 minutes to spare at Wembley. Luke O'Nien comes down the touchline, plaster cast and all, and the Sunderland fans are in complete and utter ecstasy. And they're back in this game, PJ, with 15 minutes to spare. 1-1.
Well, for the first time in this game, the Sheffield United defence just falls apart here. It's a beautiful ball splitting the defence to Mayenda, and Mayenda just puts the ball in the roof of the net. And let me tell you, we got a brand new cup final.
An all new ball game to this playoff final. What a cultured finish, left-footed, right-footed, and Michael Cooper, who hasn't had a shot really to save, he's beaten, and in fairness to Cooper, there was nothing at all he could have done with that. De Vries, is it written in the stars? Are those two misses by the substitute Brooks going to be the crucial turning point. Is the injury to Harmer, who was running the show for something like nearly 70 minutes, again, going to be the crucial turning point in this match? You just have to wonder. And we're still knowing who's going to win this playoff final. It's so evenly balanced, so very evenly poised. It's toed and froed and all that jazz, all the way from one end to the other. It's been remarkable. We're going to stay right to the bitter end here on the TCHub and Storm FM for the conclusion of this, whether it goes to extra time or penalties or even after the 90 minutes. These are the goals again. That's the goal from Campbell. That's just chipped it over the goalkeeper. It was a very cultured finish. And then that was just as cultured finish by Meenda. Two really good goals. And of course we had the Harrison Burrows one in between. That was disallowed, quite rightly so, for offside. But I felt very sorry for Harrison Burrows, because if he tried that another 100 times, Paul, he would never have struck it as sweeter as that.
Yeah, exactly. It was a super strike. It was unfortunate for him, but I think it was important that the correct decision was made.
Yes, absolutely. I do feel for Harrison Burrows in that, but the officials got it right. And I have to say a word for Chris Cameron, the referee. Big game, so much at stake. In my opinion, I don't know how you feel, Paul, he hasn't put a foot wrong throughout. So far.
Oh yeah, it's been very good. He's been let the game flow. He's not shown the yellow cards except when he's absolutely had to.
Yeah, good example of good refereeing as well. And he's done his profession proud. Well, some referees this season have done their profession ill, naming no names. Anyway, here comes Sunderland, looking to win this game. There's going to be time added on at the end of time added on. And here's a chance for Watson. Breaking forward. Watson shoots. Watson scored! Watson, the substitute, has scored for Sunderland. There may not need to be a necessity for extra time. He takes his shirt off. Watson, a Sunderland fan. And Sunderland, like in 1973, like in 2022, are going to win a one, but surely in 2025. And after 7 years away, they are going to be a Premier League team again next season. Watson the scorer. PJ, what a goal! And if it's going to decide a playoff final, what a way to win it!
Oh, that was an absolutely superb finish. That was a superb finish. It would have been so much easier for him to let the blood rush to his head, lift his foot back and blaze it over the crossbar. But he calmly placed it perfectly in the corner, beyond the reach of Michael Cooper. And you never would have thought it until the equalising goal went in. And Sheffield United will be heartbroken. This run seems as it will continue. And they must be absolutely heartbroken, because to be honest with you, aside from that goal and this goal, they haven't really created much. Sheffield United, in my opinion, deserve the win, but it's going to be a cruel end to their season.
With a turning point, how much has it proved? Kiefer Moore had a chance at the start as well. All those missed chances, there will be regrets. There will be this, there will be that, there will be others. But Sheffield United, there'll be half of Sheffield celebrating tonight in the blue half of the city. There'll be Sheffield Wednesday supporters, they'll be having a party. So there'll be one bit of Sheffield that will be celebrating. But let's stay with Sunderland. Still seconds to play. They haven't won it yet. They have now! Sunderland, after 7 years away, are back in the promised land. Regis de Breese's side have come from behind in the final 20 minutes and have snatched a victory when it looked for all the while today that it was going to end in heartbreak. Sheffield United led at half time through a wonderful strike from Tyrese Campbell, but then goals from Maeda with a quarter of an hour left of normal time to play, and then Tom Watson with a 25-yard intercept with his side of his right foot, a cultured finish, may I add, has won Sunderland the match. and the place in the top division. And it's 10th time unlucky, Paul, for Sheffield United.
You got to feel very sorry for Sheffield United. They've like I said, they'd created the better chances in most of the game. They controlled most of the game. It wasn't enough. It's heartbreaking to finish on 94 points and not go up. I can't remember the last time that happened.
I don't think it ever happened, to be honest with you.
I don't think it's ever happened either. And it's just, I mean, congratulations to Sunderland, promoted like Ipswich, promoted 2 years on the bounce. That's a fantastic achievement. So congratulations to Sunderland. Sheffield United will be devastated every time the playoffs come around. The end result is defeat and heartbreak. They'll have to go back to the drawing board next season. Whether or not they're going to be able to keep this team together is another matter as we take a look at Gustavo Harmer.
But Sheffield United haven't just lost it today, have they? They lost it at Oxford when they lost. They lost against Millwall at home. They lost against Burnley, and they lost at Plymouth. That was the game where their season imploded at Plymouth. They had it in the bag, lost it, and then Wilder lost his skin towards the end of that game. That, in my opinion, is where they've lost the chance of promotion, not just today, but over the regular season as well.
Absolutely. That's where they've lost the automatic promotion, because they were very consistent for a long time over the season. And despite Burnley winning, Sheffield United were winning, and it was over a longer period of time over the season. It looked like Sheffield United were going to get the automatic promotion, and Burnley would have to go into the playoffs. But as you say, it wasn't until the last month or so of the season when things started to fall apart for Sheffield United, and Burnley held on and got promoted. But it was, in the end, I mean, this is just, you look at this as football right here, and this is football. The emotions of the winners and the emotions of the losers.
Well, the Sheffield United fans are leaving in their droves, and I think that's a bit of a shame, because they've been given some great entertainment by Sheffield United. Tom Watson there just getting an interview there with the television people. Just to remind you, Dan Barlow was our player of the match, of course, sponsored by Commentary Services, and he's just gone up towards the Sunderland fans over on the far side and is waving to the crowd. If anyone epitomises Sunderland, it's him. He really is a super player. And Sunderland, let's be fair, they didn't register a shot on goal until the 76th minute of this final, but they had a lot of the possession, they had a lot of the play. Up until then, they just didn't know what to do. And now here they are. They're going to win. They're going to go up to those 107 Wembley steps, and they're going to lift the biggest. They're going to lift a nice, lovely three-handled trophy that they're going to parade. There's probably going to be a civic reception in Sunderland. They probably haven't had scenes like this probably since 1973. And speaking of which, there's Jim Montgomery, the hero of that day. His double save from Peter Lorimer. I'm sorry to remind us of that, because it was his Leeds team that day, then managed by Don Revie. But it's up there with that day. It's up there when they won the FA Cup, of course, in 1937. It's up there with all the great achievements at this famous old football club up in the northwest. Newcastle came here 2 months ago and won the League Cup. Sunderland have come here 2 months on and will play them next season. Well, Dan Neil in a few moments from now is going to grab the trophy, and I didn't think for 70 odd minutes today he was expected to lift it come the end, but in football the game lasts for 90 or so minutes, and when Sunderland were 1-0 down, they never stopped believing, they never stopped thinking about it, and they're going to hand the trophy now to Dan Neil, the captain, who takes the trophy and lifts it high into the sky, into the North London skyline. And Sunderland and their supporters, who travelled down from dawn this morning from the northeast in their thousands and thousands and thousands, all that way from Wearside, it's all been worth it. Sheffield United fans are already on the M1 back to the Steel City. It's all about Wearside. Dan Ballard lifts the trophy aloft. Seems reminiscent of 1973 and 2022 lived all over again.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
Sunderland's day.